With the catwalk shows attended mostly by press, buyers and stylists, bloggers make these festivals of design inclusive and immediate. Natasha Ndlovu is a leading light of this evolution in media, which puts her followers in the pound seats.
I'm not surprised that I found you here at London Fashion Week because you are, of course, a model/blogger. Is this one of the most exciting times of the year for you?
It is, because it's like you get to meet up with everybody that you usually see online and catch up with international bloggers and models. So it's pretty much like a meeting ground. So it's like a high school reunion of sorts, except mixed in with fashion.
You're Zimbabwean-born, South African-raised. How did you end up in London?
I used to do modeling, basically. I still do a little bit. And so when I was studying abroad in Paris, I got the opportunity to move to London. So I went back to Canada, finished my studies, and then moved here. And so did the modeling, then got into blogging. I was looking at magazines and I was seeing this, this blogger, such and such, a person has a blog. And I just decided to start one to kill time. And then it became a hobby turned into what's essentially now a full-time job. And here I am.
What is the role of a blogger here at Fashion Week?
The blogger is the go-between the audience and the brand or the show, because a lot of brands nowadays, they do have social media, but we still bring in more of that extra bit that's not carefully curated. So people want to see things happening live on Snapchat, and it's raw, it's not, hyper edited like when you put stuff on Instagram. So it's all about passing all that information and letting people know what's happening, even showcasing the newer unknown designers, because we all know the top brands, but people want to know the up-and-coming young talent, which is very important and very good as well.
If you have a smartphone, the right connection and a nose for a fashion story, there are no barriers to entering this market. It's competitive but supportive, as you'll find at 01 Hopkins Street, Soho.
What an exciting vibe. Tell me about this space.
So the apartment is a hub for bloggers to come in between shows, to have some food, refuel, and if they want to use the computer space to work on their articles, as well as borrow clothes from some of the brands that are featured there. It's like a home away from home. It's an apartment for you to just touch up and move on to the next bit of London Fashion Week.
The fact that this space exists just proves how the bloggers have become the it girls of the front row. How did you ladies get here?
There's people out there that love the content that you create. So the thing with bloggers is the fact that here we are putting ourselves out there, this information about fashion, keeping it real, and the audience wants more. And then the brands recognize that and they decide, you know what, these are the type of people that we want at our shows to bring the information to the reader, to the viewer. So essentially, I guess that's kind of how I got here. I just put myself out there on the internet and boom, someone responded back.
Other than London Fashion Week, where do you get your inspiration from?
Just all around me, really. It's just day-to-day things when you go out and it's beautiful weather, or you're out in the park, or you're just in an amazing environment and you just think to yourself, okay, how can I tie this into fashion or into the things that I love? Because there's always something inspirational and aspirational about the things around us.
It's a new kind of business driving the creative industries, and it makes Abisola Omole very proud.
Abby, you've created a beautiful space. Why did you start the apartment?
So it was around 4 years ago. I needed a space because I was a blogger and it was Fashion Week and it was so busy and we had lots of work we needed to do. I mean, as influencers, we were posting things live, not just waiting a few months. And so just needing a place that wasn't a cafe, that had Wi-Fi, that had people that, I could know, because the blogging community was quite separated at the time. There wasn't a place we could all go. And so I just thought I'd get an actual apartment and we'd hang out, we'd be able to be in the space and get work done. And I guess at that time I was at university and it was just like a test, I guess you could say, and then it turned into an expectation, and so I had to continue, which was great because it went so well. And now we're on our 8th season, which is kind of crazy, and now we are in New York and London, obviously, and Paris, and we're doing a few other cities, but it was just the idea of bringing influencers together in a place that they could create content.
Roxy could explore London managing her roaming with Vodacom's Travel Saver. An experience like the Portobello Market could be captured in the moment and shared around the world just as quickly.
Snapchat takeover, myself and Natasha walking the streets of Notting Hill looking for fabulous fashion. Love it! So with Vodacom Travel Saver, you're always connected on social media, and we are sharing our fabulous fashion style adventures from around the world.
This market stretches for almost a kilometre through the renowned festival hub of Notting Hill. While Fashion Week lasts just 7 days, Portobello offers the best of British design 52 weeks a year.
Is this a day in the life of a fabulous blogger like yourself, sitting in Notting Hill, sipping coffee and working?
Pretty much. I mean, not all the time. Sometimes it's not as glamorous as this, but I love to get out of the house and work in an environment that's more inspiring and just being around people, because it keeps me going and keeps me working at a faster pace than if I'm at home, you know, in my PJs looking like Bridget Jones or something.
Tell me a little bit about your blog.
So my blog is a fashion and lifestyle website. It's all about being in London, the things that I love to wear, the places that I love to go and eat, as well as when I travel, the places that I visit and what's there and what's cool to check out in terms of fashion, food, and lifestyle, basically.
These days, blogging isn't just about blogging. Social media is very important. How do you use it to support your blog?
Nowadays, they say that not a lot of people read blogs, so we use the Instagrams, the Twitters, etc. to drive people back to the blog. Essentially, it becomes a bit of a teaser as well. And it's good for the brands because that's how brands discover you and they see your audience, and they see the interaction that you have with your audience and what people like. And so in turn, that's good for us as bloggers when we put ourselves out there to the people that we potentially want to work with.
Do you think that in South Africa we have the opportunity to get to the point where we can represent ourselves at New York, London Fashion Week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Obviously, when you look at blogging and social media, the internet is the key point in getting yourself out there and people connecting with one another. And of course, content is very, very important. You want to make something, create stuff that is relevant to where you are, but also translate internationally. So there is a potential there. The more people do it in South Africa, then the more the world will listen and pay attention and see what's happening, you know, on the other side of the world.
Here's to you, and here's to you, the next generation of amazing South African bloggers inspired by Natasha. Cheers.
Cheers.